My name is Ayo. I'm 9 and I'm feeling great. I'm happy and I'm ready for it.
So it's the first day of the Discovery Duathlon here in Santon, and the middle of Santon has been transformed into the frozen winterland behind me for the kiddies races. There are 3 races today. It's going to be a fabulous day, of course the big day tomorrow, but today it's all about the children and the fun they can have in front of happy, healthy adults as well.
And indeed, the prospect of these activities has stirred up great excitement amongst the athletes and parents participating in the Discovery Kids Duathlon today. Hundreds of children have begun to roll in on their bicycles, ready to partake in new experiences.
You guys ready for this race, eh? Have you trained?
Yeah, I have.
And what kind of training things did you do to get ready?
Ran around my house a couple of times.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic for the kids. The kids get out, do some sports, they're outside.
While the course itself will be challenging, it is also geared to accommodate anyone who wishes to join in the fun. There are 3 distances for kids to take part in throughout the day: ages 5 to 6 years, 7 to 9 years, and 10 to 11 years, each route tailored to suit the age group. The start line, located on West Street, is where the magic begins. The participants stand ready for action, and waiting at the start line to set them on their way are 2 friendly faces, Richard Murray and Henry Skuman, 2 professional South African triathletes who will be representing our country at the 2016 Olympic Games. Richard and Henry wish the participants all the best for their race and hand out some helpful tips and inspiration to the children. And so, with our shoelaces tied and sunscreen applied, there is only one thing left to do, and that is to conquer the challenge of the Run Cycle Run. The runners are put to the test right away as the course begins with a steady uphill towards the Disney Pixar's The Good Dinosaur transition zone on Alice Lane. The cycling route continues on to 5th and then down to Fredman, where athletes advance through the Disney Pixar's Finding Nemo bubble tunnel. It is now time for them to make their way to the grandstands on West Street, where their friends and family are waiting to support and cheer them on. At the top of the hill, the final leg of the race is underway as the athletes filter back into the transition zone to drop off their kit and head off for their final run towards the finish line. Once again, the athletes are pushed to their ultimate strength to complete the last leg of the race as they make their way uphill towards the Disney's Frozen Winter Wonderland finish line. After the finish line, the kids can let go and relax as they receive their medal and photo to take home to remind themselves of their accomplishments today. Cold beverages and fruit are enjoyed at the end as extremely proud parents meet the athletes. A successful day for all.
Well, it's been a great first day of the Discovery Duathlon here in Santon. Lovely weather conditions for the kids. 3 kids races, all chasing this medal. They've seen lots of smiles and lots of very, very happy parents and proud parents today. This is the first day. Tomorrow is going to be an awesome day. The standard distance events, the sprint events, and of course the super sprint as well. We're going to see thousands of people crossing the line tomorrow. It's going to be hot again, but it is going to be a great day here in the middle of Santon. second day of the Discovery Duathlon here in Centon, a beautiful day, and we're looking forward to a great day of racing. There's the full distance, there's the sprint distance, there's the super sprint, and of course there's the invitational race with the very best triathletes and duathletes in the country racing here in the middle of Centon. It's going to be hot, it's going to be hot racing, and it's going to be a great day here at the Discovery Duathlon.
Well, if you can't tell a sprocket from a Schrader, or if you call all things biking related whatchamacallits, that is no problem here today, as this race is for everyone. As Mike has said, there is a wide range of athletes participating in today's race events, with ages ranging between the teens and 50 plus, individuals, schools teams, corporate teams, family teams, and professional athletes participating. Everyone is confident that they will conquer the challenges ahead.
So, game plan for today is try and catch up with her. I think I'm going to have a 6-minute head start, so that should help.
Yeah. No, but I think the crazy thing is that we've done running on its own, we've done cycling on its own, so we've never done the two together. Yeah. So I think it's going to be quite interesting and challenging for us. So we don't know what really to expect, but we'll see how it goes.
The atmosphere is electric here at the Transition Hub, where the athletes are gearing up for the race, making sure everything is in place for a smooth and timiest shift from running to cycling.
Okay, so I reckon the goal for today is to finish properly, don't be last. I don't even mind if I'm not first, I just don't want to be last. Training has been tough, been working hard. Early mornings, running far, cycling hard. I think I'm ready for it. I think we're going to have a great, awesome day.
Thousands have lined up as the rays of sun splinter through the high-rise buildings to run through the city streets. It's 7:20 a.m. at the start of the standard race, set to kick off at 7:30. From here, it's a 10-kilometer run, 40-kilometer cycle, and 5-kilometer run back to the finish line. This race is going to demand discipline and endurance from the athletes. Going off in intervals of age groups, the standard race is now well on its way. The sprint and super sprint races offer a shorter distance to compete in and are perfect for those who are new to the sport. The sprint race will take the athletes on a 5-kilometer run, 25-kilometer cycle, and 2.5-kilometer run to the finish line, while the super sprint event consists of a 2.5-kilometer run, 12.5-kilometer cycle, and a 2.5-kilometer run.
It's pretty tough out there, 2,500 runners throughout the day, and it's going to be hot. So the guys are going to have to pace themselves, make sure they hydrate properly.
The course ahead loops around the blocks of Santon, which brings the athletes through the race village a couple of times, giving spectators a chance to view all the action. It begins at the corner of Stella and West Street in the heart of Santon. From there, the athletes will turn left into Rivonia Road towards Morningside. After the gentle curve, they push on through left into Maud Street and right into Gwen Lane. At the T-junction, it's a direct left turn into Fredman Drive and back into West Street, where the race village is situated. As the athletes master the incline, friends, family, and fellow participants of the day's activities cheer them on. Once the required number of laps has been completed for the respective races, the runners will either tag out with a team member or, for the individual competitors, go right on through to the transition zone, situated on the right of West Street. Here, the athletes make the shift from running to cycling as they kit up as fast as possible and gear up for the cycle route. From the transition zone, the cyclists will turn left onto Rivonia Road, following the same route as the run. Where the run turns left onto Maud Street, the cycle route turns right into Linden Street and follows the road until Linden Street intersects with Grayston Drive. Turning right onto Grayston Drive and passing over the M1, the course follows a right turn into 5th Street, a left into Arkwright Avenue, and then left again into Pretoria Main Service Road. The cyclists will now continue straight until Marlborough Drive, passing under the M1 and left into Catherine Road, all the way back to Sandton. Now, back onto Rivonia Road before the cyclist's last left turn into West Street and into the transition zone to get ready for Run 2. The standard race cyclists will complete 3 laps of this route, totaling 37.5 kilometers. For the sprint race, it's 2 laps for the cyclists, totaling 25 kilometers. And for the super sprint race, it's 1 lap for the cyclists, totaling 12.5 kilometers. As the laps get less, the pace picks up and the competition gets hotter. While the athletes progressed through the course, we caught up with race director Gary Maresia. We chatted to him about the background of this event and how it came into being.
This is the inaugural event of the Discovery Duathlon Sandton event taking place on the 24th and 25th of October. The Discovery Duathlon is a run-cycle run. It's really the first opportunity that the public get to run, cycle and run through the streets of Johannesburg and particularly the Sandton precinct. It comes off the back of the Discovery ITU World Triathlon Cape Town event, which is an event that happens around the world in 11 iconic cities. It really is a platform that is appealing to both the top athletes in the world, where that event brings in, all the Olympians that will be competing in the 2016 Olympics. And it also has got massive appeal to the general public who want to go out and participate on exactly the same course. With the kiddies as well as the age groupers for any of our events, obviously safety is our top concern. And we have the deployment of the Metro Police, obviously very trained security and marshals all along the route. Each of these events, you can be participating as an individual or being out with friends and family or teammates and participating as a team of 2 or a team of 3. So in terms of the values that we look to install when we're looking to stage an event like this is one that has got to be very closely aligned with the values of the key partners, in particularly Discovery. So the event will look to include regular exercise into the routine of our weekly lifestyle. And multi-sport is a great platform to do that. It's a very difficult sport just to come out and do it on no training. So it does require athletes to go out and, engage in the event over a 4 to 8 week period at least.
So, we are nearing the end of the standard race, and it's been just under 2 hours since the first group left the start line this morning. The Virgin Active Angels are ready at the finish line to welcome the athletes to the finish and to celebrate their great achievements with them. First to the finish line for the men's 19 to 29-year group is Nicholas Chapman, with a tremendous display of strength and power as he comes up the hill towards the finish line. Second to the finish line is James Curtin, followed shortly after by Todd Hussey. First in for the female 19 to 29 group is Samantha Summerscales. Second in is Lynette van der Merwe, followed by Laura Hurst in third place. Athletes taking first place in their respective age groups for the standard race include Nicholas Chapman, Samantha Summerscales, Gavin Payne, Natalie van Blerk, Ellen Stedolf, Sandy Brown, Andrea Becker, and Helen Grenason. Athletes taking second place in their respective age groups for the standard race include James Curtin, Lynette van der Merwe, Gerard de Bruin, Claudia Hazelwood, Kobus van Niekerk, Talani Hubert, Arthur Wooldridge, and Renella Haynes. Athletes taking third place in their respective age groups for the standard race include Todd Hussey, Laura Hurst, Archibald Malinga, Sunay Pretorius, Peter Berger, Cheryl Thomas, Francois Emsu, and Leslie Wood. Besides the race results, which promote healthy competition amongst athletes, there is a very specific aim to this event that focuses on promoting a particular set of values and lifestyles. Adrian Gore, Chief Executive of Discovery, tells us more about this.
So the purpose of this event and the reason we've done it is Discovery's been built on this very simple purpose: make people healthier. And this is part of the Eco Mobility Week as well. So it all fits in with that core purpose. I mean, it's the most wonderful thing. Obviously, it's about physical activity. I think that's critical. But it's also about getting out into the beautiful streets of Joburg and seeing our city. And it's also about eco mobility, that physical activity is better than driving around. So while this is a hugely competitive and, all ages participate, it's wonderful. It has, I think, broader issues to it, broader values to it. And I must say, from our perspective, we're very, very excited about what's been achieved here.
It's now time to go over to the start of the invitational race, where a collection of South Africa's finest professional triathletes are warming up to compete in their race. The invitational course will follow the same routes and distances as the standard race. Friends, family, guests, and fellow athletes competing throughout the day stand by to see them off and cheer them on. Chatting to the guys before they line up is Richard Murray, SA Triathlon Champion, offering sound advice and best wishes to the athletes. We caught up with Richard to get his view on the weekend's activities.
We're here with Richard Murray. He's the South African Triathlon Champion. I just want to ask you a few questions about how you feel about the race. What are your general feelings today?
I think it's pretty hot out there today. When we came through, I had a little bit of sunburn from yesterday, so it's definitely the heat going to play a factor today. And I think the guys early on in the run, they're going to want to go quick so they can get away from the rest of the field and work together. So I think it's going to be quite a strategic day today, I think.
I heard you mention yesterday, I know you were around with the kids at the start of the race. How did that kick off and were they excited?
Yeah, the kids, they look pretty daunting to most of them. They look pretty scared. But, I think having their parents there makes it easier and makes it more enjoyable. I think at the end of it, a lot of them are pretty happy that they got finished. And, I think it's something nice to bowl on and something for them to come back and enjoy next time.
3, 2, 1, and away they go!
The invitational race heads up in a flash as the athletes bolt off the start line up the hill on West Street. Before you know it, the guys are on their second lap, effortlessly tearing through the streets of Sandton. It's a smooth transition by the professional athletes as they kit up for the cycle. You can see the fine art of the changeover, mastered by these athletes through dedicated training and experience.
The Discovery Duathlon is a very exciting event that's taking place in Johannesburg, launched in particular in Eco-Mobility Month. We think that it adds to the city's calendar of events, and we think that it would grow into a significant event. I mean, the launch event has been quite significant, well attended.
Coming to the end of the invitational race, the guys push themselves to their limits on the last leg of the race. The crowd waits in anticipation as the first two athletes come around the corner at the bottom of West Street and begin the uphill climb to the finish line. It's 1 hour and 50 minutes into the race, and it's neck and neck between Travis Johnston and Michael Davidson, running parallel to each other on the incline. It's so close, but coming in first by a split second is Travis Johnston. Arriving at the finish line, a whisker behind Johnston, is Michael Davidson at 1 hour and 57 minutes. What an epic show by the two sportsmen. Renier Grobler takes third place only moments after. Coming in first for the female invitational runners is Andrea Stain, flying in at just over 2 hours. Second in for the ladies is Cindy Schwulst, followed by Marlies Vermaak in third place. Here to present the awards to the athletes is Chief Executive of Discovery, Adrian Gore, the Mayor of Johannesburg, Parks Tau, and the President of Triathlon South Africa, and ITU and ATU Executive Board Member, Dr. Debbie Alexander. As the afternoon progresses, it's time for the sprint and super sprint races to commence. It's going to be a tough one, but the athletes are more than ready to meet the challenge. It is scorching hot now, with the temperature at 32 degrees Celsius. Athletes will need to keep in mind the severity of the sun and stay hydrated throughout the course. As clouds begin to gather overhead and the sun starts to drop behind the trees, offering a sigh of relief to many and winding down the day, the last group of runners filter in through the finish line where the crowd stand together, still bursting with energy to welcome the super sprint runners onto the finish line.
I'm Michael Ferreira. I'm 18 years old. Last year of school, I took part in the Discovery Duathlon sprint distance in the school league. The race went brilliantly. The first run was absolutely blistering pace. We ran as fast as we could to try to get on the bikes first. Then I managed to come out top 10, getting into transition 1, and then hitting on the bike, we managed to make up quite a bit. Me and Mr. Mayberg, we caught up a lot of space. We caught all the way up to second. Had a nice little group chasing down Luke Sleebush, and then I came into transition second with Stephen Kennelly behind me and Mayberg just behind him. I managed to get out of transition just with Mayberg passing Stephen, and then for the rest of the last run it was myself and Mayberg running, and towards the end he managed to pull about a 10-meter gap on me, and then unfortunately he took the wrong route, but you know, he had already won the race in my eyes, so I called him back, told him to run up the proper way and take the victory.
What a great day of camaraderie and action, celebrating unity in sports, healthy living, and active lifestyles.
So we're nearing the end of a long day on the second day of the Discovery Duathlon here in Sandton. The first time this event's been held, an historic day in many ways, because here in the middle of Sandton a major sporting event has happened, and that is the first time it's happened right in the middle of this incredibly big commercial district. It's been a lovely day for the athletes, 2,500 athletes across the various distances. Behind me, the end of the sprint event. This morning at 7:30 we had the start of the standard distance event, the 10:45 kilometre, that was the long one. Then we had the incredible elite racing at 11 o'clock this morning, some incredible racing amongst some of the top athletes in South Africa, and of course lots of age groupers and lots of incredible people out here experiencing the challenge of a duathlon. So a big thank you to all the spectators, to the organisers, to our partners Discovery. They've done a great job in just turning this incredible area into this healthy exercise place for people to enjoy the sport of duathlon.